body learns to protect itself. What if I grew a garden in my bones? One that shows my neck how to sway like prairie grass, not to tense in a strong wind or little rain. One with orchids in my lungs that let my body breathe as they bloom. One with chamomile in my veins to soothe the flames under my skin. One with succulents nestled in my gut, a flourishing oasis in a desert of pain. This garden unfurls vines along my skin, reminding my shoulders not to rise, but to rest. Thank you.
He loves his sinful fag self more than enough, brushing off cautions about God's punishment. Bodies are his friends, wanting satisfaction without questions. They know why he's nearby in clashing breaths, tongues finding ways to G-spots, tasting fingertips, diving into curved hips, tender belly, warm arms reaching out instead of God's finger-to-finger fresco touch. Discovering even the most casual encounters have laws of reciprocity with boy dolls, marble musclemen, pheromonal jocks, waifs, thieves, porn star wannabes, separating mutual pleasure from true emotion in sodomite immersions, free-range orgasms, succulence with sensations of surprise, engorged attack quickly deflated. Once crazy for Jesus, now crazy for boys. Red hair, blonde, brunette, crazy for jeans, bell-bottoms, leather, suits, boots. Crazy in bars, backrooms, warehouses, lofts, shops, elevators, plain floors, beds. Crazy for bare heads, crew cuts, curls. Crazy for nameless hands reaching out like wild branches. Crazy for animal eyes, crazy to fall into eyes, drowning with ardor. Crazy to go out dancing, boozing, writing love letters, wearing French letters, barebacking. Crazy for lives we lead at night. Crazy for the edge of ruin.
It's not over. Fears rise. Violence and death continue to hammer provinces, cities, and towns, unprecedented. The vast majority of us have received the prescribed amount of vaccine to hold the virus at bay, and yet there's so much more going on, and it has been for the last several years, prompting him to repeatedly strike them with a hammer. The incident is not believed to be random, police said. Case counts rise. An unprecedented increase in complaints about street safety, the duration of the pandemic, the duration of the nesting period for patients in pursuit of monsters. He and his friend were chased by a gunman through the streets. A man implored the others to keep their heads down. Domestic abuse calls rise. Our government have emerged from a period of unprecedented military intervention. Fatal shooting victims fear shots during a pursuit. Zeta surge raises alarm. All cases in the outbreak are thought to have been acquired in hospital. Before they returned, they did not talk to them in any shape or form. If he had just talked to them, then we could have settled this down. Evacuees keep Zeta at bay. This is a hammer, he said. Unprecedented deaths soar through the worst pandemic disaster. Department officials investigate the handling of what can be seen stomping on the victim's head before striking them with what appears to be a hammer. The best that they could find was that he only battered the victim once. You can debate whether it's a medium or a large-size hammer, but it's definitely a hammer. A hammer people need.
With everything, words. I pack my words into a carry-on luggage, fold them in half, turn in the edges, to fly on paper trails lasting 5 seconds. I turn on the television, face it to the window, city's hungry eyes can consume itself. I forget the words of yesterday, but I will always remember the shrill. I hail a cab, sit in the trunk, on the road leading away, turning back home. I package the edges, send me flying through time and space, between white-yellow lines, land in a tree, neighbor's yard, a fountain, out of reach. The streetlights are hitting the exhaust pipe of cab. Watching out, red tail light, crammed in the back with a letter or an invoice, a voicemail, crumpled posts of thoughts, hazy through gaslight. Or at least what we've passed. 1st and 2nd Street, the neon sign that reads sail, 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 everything's got to go. A moment passed along the road. I pay the fare, pay my taxes, pay for place, pay for pleasure, pay my time, your time, and get on the way. Ink still wet, then turn the page. I left my phone in the back, left it sitting where I was, beep, beep, chime, chime, as the streetlights encouraged shadows to spring. I could go back to lying on my back in the back of the cab, scramble to answer back, fast, 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 but they drive away. The building to my right says, neon sail, everything must go. Thank you so much for having me.